Earthbound by Artemis Greenleaf. Chapter 14. Confession. Sheridan sat in a closet with a flashlight, listening to music with earphones. I could tell it was music because she was sitting down, but trying to dance anyway. She kept hitting things in the closet with her arms and feet. Dad would not approve. I wondered, if I was alive, would it be the two of us in the closet, each with an earbud, dancing in the clothes? Or would I take her with me to Fiona's house, and the three of us would dance ourselves silly in her kitchen, while her mother cooked supper and cast loving glances our way? Probably what would happen is that we'd be in the closet and get into a brawl. Dad would come in, beat us both bloody, and then take away and destroy the music. He probably wouldn't even let us spend the night at Fiona's anyway. I sighed, but Sheridan didn't hear me. I'd been neglecting her since the Rodney Aldrich thing came up. She seemed to be doing okay, so maybe I was doing all right by her. At least I hoped so. I would never be able to forgive myself if something happened to her because I wasn't paying attention. Leaving Sheridan grooving in the closet, I went to find Una.
"Oh, you're back now, Skylar. Did you have a nice trip?"
"It's all right. I was wondering." I ran my finger along the edge of the kitchen table. "We saw an old woman, except she had red eyes and claw hands, washing clothes in a stream. She said she had no clothes for us today. Have you any idea what she meant?"
"That sounds like a bad nigh, a washerwoman. She is seen washing the clothes of a person who is about to die. Usually, she bodes a violent death."
"Is she dangerous?" What I really wanted to know was whether Bagan had accidentally got lost, or if he knew exactly where he was going.
"All wild spirits can be dangerous, but she's mostly a messenger. Many believe that the Ben Nye is a ghost of a woman who died in childbed."
"Really?" I said. I remembered Bagan's wife had died in childbirth. Is that why he thought he knew her? I'm shattered. I think I'll have a snooze. It was almost dawn. I needed a rest. I went up to my room and lay down on the bed. I watched Sheridan come out of the closet and get dressed. Then I pulled all of my energy in tight until I was just an orb, and I slept. Ghost sleep is different from living sleep. In living sleep, the body repairs itself. In ghost sleep, the consciousness powers down to a low energy state. But it also acts like a magnet. It attracts energy to itself like charging a battery. Energy is everywhere. Sunlight, the vibrations of sounds, electronic equipment. It doesn't take much energy to power a ghost. When I woke up, the room was dim. I looked out of the window. Long shadows stretched across the yard. It would be sunset soon. I went outside and wandered about, eventually finding myself at the barn. I heard Neem whicker and snort. Connie was combing out her tail with a phantom comb. "Evening, Skylar. What brings you to our fair abode?" "Hello, Connie. Did they tell you? The others? About Rodney Aldrich?" "Who or what is Rodney Aldrich?" She stopped brushing and looked at me amused. "He claims to be a ghost hunter. He's coming to the farm, 1st of May. He wants to put us all on telly, then exorcise us." I put my hand on Neem's shoulder. I wasn't afraid of her anymore, not after seeing how much she loved Connie. The horse's energy was strong and warm. It made me feel safe. "Can he do that?" Connie asked. "Not from what I've heard. He'll show up, make a bags of things, and then leave us to sort everything out." Neem shifted her weight, and I took a few steps back. I didn't feel that safe, so I moved away from her. Oh, she looked disappointed, then started brushing again. He's dangerous, I tell you. No one believes me. I slammed my fist onto the stone where I was sitting. Of course, it went right through and I nearly fell over. Connie glided over to me, looking very serious. "Listen," she hissed. "You've got to learn to channel your anger. Otherwise, it just scatters your energy. Makes you weak. Watch." She picked up a stone the size of an apple. She appeared to take a deep breath. Then she hurled the stone across the barn. It hit the stone wall and shattered with a loud thunk. "It's all about focus, see? You can't focus if you're angry," Connie said. "I wish you could do that to Aldrich." "Is that a request?" She was suddenly fierce. "No, not really. You can't just go around killing people after all." "I thought not. It's a terrible thing to take a life." She turned back towards Neem and scratched the mare's neck under her mane. She must be referring to the men who burned the barn with her in it. People can be horrid. Who would burn a girl and a load of horses alive in a barn and think it was okay? That's not what I meant. I mean, I know what it is like to kill someone. She kept her back to me. "What? You never said? Who was it?" Now this was juicy. Whoever it was probably deserved it. It was probably a very bad person. I had a sudden vision of Connie rescuing a bag of kittens from being drowned in the sea. "No, it was never like that. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. I was just acting out, trying to be heard, when things went horribly wrong." She still faced Neem. "What happened? Who did you kill?" "I had to know the dish." Connie turned and slowly looked at me. She looked as if she was about to cry. "You." "What?" I couldn't quite comprehend what she had said. The word bounced off my brain, a super bouncy ball of confession I didn't want to hear. "I didn't just watch you die. I made you die. I broke the ladder. I just wanted you to notice me. I never meant to harm you." She looked at the floor and squeezed her hands together. "What?" I asked again, as if it would change what she had said. The words were starting to sink in. "You? How could... What were you thinking? What made you..." I broke off. Rage bubbled up and spewed out of me like a shaken soda. I couldn't even string together a coherent sentence. Connie took a few steps towards me and reached out to touch me. "I'm so sorry." "Stay away from me, you murderer!" I screeched back at her. "I had to tell you. I've had 8 years now to think on it. The white boys didn't know I was in the barn. It was an accident. I've forgiven them. But I can't move on until I've forgiven myself. For that, I need your help." "You need what? You have the nerve to kill me in cold blood, and then ask me to forgive you so you can move on?" I flew out of the barn and away from the house. I couldn't stand to be around anyone just now. I was so angry I couldn't even think straight. I glided out to the sea cliff to listen to the wind and watch the waves. At least there was nothing else left to go wrong. Chapter 15, Eden. I sat on the edge of the sea cliffs, watching the orange-red sun dissolve into the molten sea. It seemed sometimes that my life, well, my afterlife, was all about sunsets, about losing the light. "Skylar?" There was something familiar but alien about the presence calling my name. like something long forgotten suddenly that turns up. I turned around, and there she was. She looked different from regular ghosts, shimmery and beautiful, but she was a ghost just the same. Mother. Or should I just call you Eden? That seems more appropriate somehow. So you're dead now, are you? What made you think you could come back to the farm? There's nothing for you here. I wasn't sure what to feel. She had largely ignored me as a child, and she had abandoned Sheridan completely. I was so angry with her that I might have even hated her. But you aren't allowed to hate your own parents, are you? Baby. I know you're angry with me. I'm not a baby. I was angry, but I couldn't say it. Couldn't admit that she had power over me. I didn't need her. I know, Midge. I'd forgotten she called me that when I was little. She nicknamed me after a biting gnat. Isn't that cute? I'm so sorry, she continued. When I was alive, I made so many mistakes, did so many things wrong. I never ever meant to hurt you. I just didn't realize. Why are you here? I have more important things to deal with right now. I suppose I deserve that, Midge. I wasn't a very good mother. I did the best I could, but I could never get it right. Your father told Sheridan what really happened, did he? Happened about what? You ran off. What else is there? I pretended that I didn't want to know. I didn't want her to think I cared. Oh, Skylar, I'm so ashamed. She had lost some of her shimmer. After you died, I was such a mess. I just couldn't take it. I would tell your father I was going out to do some shopping. I was shopping all right. Heroin. If you have some money and you know where to look, there's nothing you can't get. Most times I would leave Sheridan with Luke, but once I took her with me. She was a little over a month old. I was so high, I never even heard her crying. I was just coming to when the guide eye found me lying in a churchyard with Sheridan in her pram, screaming her head off. I told them I'd been having dizzy spells after the baby. I'd fallen and hit my head. They would have believed me too if my arm hadn't been bleeding. It soaked clear through my blouse. They rolled up my sleeve and saw the tracks. It was going to be jail for me, and child welfare would come and take Sheridan. I pretended I was going to be sick, and when the copper stepped back, I ran. I left Sheridan, my purse, my life, everything. I hid in a dumpster around the corner, and he just ran right past. Don't you see? Luke and Sheridan, they were better off without me. What about me? You were dead, Midge. I had no way of knowing you were still around. I'm so sorry. I wasn't always dead, Eden. You might not have noticed, but I was alive for 5 whole years. I didn't know what to say, how long to keep punishing her, punishing myself. Finally, I asked, how did you die? Oh, Midge. She looked all teary-eyed, like it mattered that I asked. Junkies don't live long, baby. Stop. I get the picture. I did not want to know this about my mother. I had an elaborate fantasy that she was getting herself together and working. Her plan was to save some money, buy a little cottage and send for Sheridan. Then I would be done here. I should have known that she'd have let me down, yet again. Listen, my girl. You've done a really good job looking after your sister. I'm so proud of you. But it should have been me, not you. Sheridan was never your responsibility. I've been to school, spirit guide school. They said I should come and be Sheridan's spirit guide. You're released. You don't have to stay here anymore. Not if you don't want to. Just like that, I'm dismissed. How dare she turn up after all this time, after what she did, and tell me what I can and can't do? There's still something I have to finish. Why did I feel the need to explain anything to her? She'd long ago lost the right to tell me what to do.
No, you don't, Midge.
She smiled at me and reached out as if she could stroke my hair, as if to comfort me. I leaned out of reach. Yes, Eden, there is. And don't go calling me darling. Furious, I turned and glided away from her back to the farm, a transparent white cannonball hurtling towards its final destination. Earthbound by Artemis Greenleaf. This work is licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivative Works 3.0 United States license. Environmental sound effects used in this podcast were provided by www.freesound.org. Please check artemisgreenleaf.com for details of specific samples used. If you'd like to leave a comment or learn more about the other projects in progress, please go to www.artemisgreenleaf.com.
Dandelion girl, watch her play on the summer